Welcome back to BNC Live. Christmas is normally the most wonderful time of the year, but the stress of COVID, it's causing Americans to question their holiday plans. This year, worries have intensified as the Omicron variant spreads rapidly across the country. And because of these concerns, health officials are now urging the public to remain cautious and follow COVID restrictions during this holiday season.
You want to be prudent and always be extra careful because you're dealing with an unprecedented situation of a virus that has an extraordinary capability of transmitting. You want to make sure, for example, when you travel to see relatives who are vaccinated and boosted, that you don't get into a situation where you go to an airport, you don't have a mask on, you're in an indoor congregate setting. That's what I mean about being careful.
And with Christmas just 4 days away, today we're breaking down the proper holiday etiquette to keep you COVID-free while gathering with your family to keep you stress-free as well. And joining us with more on this is our panel, public health expert Alicia Coulter and lifestyle and etiquette expert Elaine Swann. Ladies, thank you for joining us this hour. And before we start, Merry Christmas to you. So, Alicia, what changes should families make so that their gatherings are safer in light of the Omicron variant?
That's a great question. And it's funny that I wrote a blog about this for Thanksgiving in hopes that by Christmas we wouldn't still need the same etiquette, but yet here we are. And one of the things that we're suggesting to do is for vaccinated and especially for unvaccinated people to have rapid tests at the door for people to take when they arrive. Individuals that come after can also that fly in, should also test before and after arrival. I know that some locations have inclement weather, so having doors and windows open are an issue. So keeping fans going, keeping air circulating, that is one of the best things to do if you're not in an area where you cannot eat outside or have windows and doors open.
Very good advice. Elaine, are there certain steps people can take before their guests set out and once they've arrived?
Most certainly. Before your guests arrive, my recommendation for hosts this year is to find out exactly where everyone stands in terms of their status. Normally, in normal times, we wouldn't necessarily ask people about their health status and whether or not they've taken some sort of vaccination or shot or what have you. But now etiquette would dictate that it is most certainly acceptable. So ask in advance and don't beat around the corner. Be very, very direct and ask up front if you have been vaccinated, if you've been in contact with anyone, folks as far as their travel is concerned. Ask these questions in advance. And in addition to that, set a standard. It's perfectly fine for now to tell folks that you're maybe only going to have people gather who have had the vaccine and let them know what they can expect when they do arrive. Now, once folks do arrive at your home, there's a few things you can do, and I love what our doctor shared with us earlier. So aside from what she shared as opposed to those rapid tests, I like to say have some little sanitation stations throughout your home. This would include everything from maybe extra hand sanitizer, if you're doing a buffet sort of style meal, maybe having gloves at the head of the line for the buffet so people can put those on as they go through, and mask if they do have to come in close proximity to people outdoors when they're going out and about. Just make sure that you have those extra things on hand.
Thank you for that. Alicia, a lot of this comes down to just common courtesy and common politeness. Yet we're living in a day and age right now that seems to have gone out the window in some circles because of the misinformation and disinformation and the rebellious nature towards getting vaccinated. So what do you do when you have a guest coming to your home, Alicia, and they're not quite right? They're trying to come in and really talk about politics and demean situations because, testing, bah humbug, there's nothing I need to do. I don't need to be tested.
Well, that's when you have to take on the stance of my house, my rules, right? And if you want to allow a family member to come into the home that's not vaccinated and it's not in line with the standard, I say give them one of these masks, have them wear the mask. and tell them, we understand that you do not agree with the protocols that are being set outside of our home, but inside of our home, these are the standards that we have. Me personally, I have a mandate to where you can't come into my home if you're not fully vaccinated. And if it's 6 months past your second dose, if you went for Pfizer or Moderna, or 2 months past your dose with Johnson & Johnson, you have to be boosted. There's no question about that. You cannot step over my threshold. And we're at the point in this pandemic to where we need to be black and white and stand firm in our ground rules. Now, I do know some people miss their family. And if you miss your family that much and you want them to come over, just have masks. I keep mask on deck. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Good.
That's my suggestion.
Good. Good. Elaine, final question. I've got about 30 seconds left. How to find out what the safety protocols are? I think we just saw a good example right there with Alicia, had those masks at the door to be ready to give them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And just set your standards and go by them. My recommendation is to don't waver this time of year. If you love people and you want to see them, then this is an opportunity for you to stand firm in what your standards are and let them know in advance. And don't waver, because you'll end up missing them later on if they get sick and ultimately succumb to this disease.
You know, it's well said. It's our house, and take care of your house. Ms. Coulter and Ms. Swann, thank you for joining us this hour. Very important advice right there. We'll be right back with more.